The family was relaxing in the living room when suddenly they noticed a strange computer they had never seen before. George was the first to approach the computer. On the screen appeared a strange face with bright blue eyes. "Hello, I am Mr. Fun Computer," said a voice from the speakers. "Would you like to play?" Without hesitation, George pressed a bright button. The computer began to glow brighter and brighter, filling the room with blue light. Suddenly, they were pulled into the screen. They spun in a whirl of digital particles and codes. They found themselves in a strange world filled with neon lines and geometric shapes. It was the digital world of Sprunky Incredibox. A strange pink creature with big eyes and a bow tie approached them. "I am Pinky. You entered our world through the Mr. Fun Computer portal. This is dangerous." Suddenly, a robot named Funbot appeared. He created a digital wall that separated the parents from Peppa and George. Pinky led Peppa and George through a strange digital forest. "Mr. Fun Computer is taking visitors from the real world to make them part of his collection," she explained. They didn't notice a mysterious character named Black watching them from the shadows. His eyes glowed in the darkness, following every move they made. At an intersection of digital paths, they met a gray character named Polo. "I saw where your parents were taken," he said apathetically. "They are in Mr. Fun Computer's tower." Soon they saw a huge computer tower. Images of Peppa's parents being held inside digital capsules flickered on the screen. Inside the tower, they met a purple pixelated character named Derple. "Hurry, I can lead you to the laboratory, but we have little time." In the laboratory, they saw their parents in capsules under Funbot's supervision. "He's turning them into digital copies," exclaimed Pinky. A huge face of Mr. Fun Computer appeared on the main screen. "You will all become part of my collection forever," his voice boomed throughout the laboratory. At that moment, Wenda, the portal guardian, appeared. She created a protective barrier around the children. "I can open a portal home, but we must act quickly." Peppa and George, with Pinky and Derple's help, freed their parents from the capsules while Wenda held back Mr. Fun Computer with her magic. "Run to the portal!" Wenda shouted, creating a bright passage. The Peppa Pig family rushed toward it, pursued by an enraged Funbot. They returned home safely. Everything seemed normal again, but on the table remained a small toy resembling Pinky. And on the TV screen, for a moment, Mr. Fun Computer's face flickered. Maybe this wasn't their last adventure in the digital world. On a sunny day, the Pig family house looks peaceful and calm. Peppa and George are playing happily in the garden with toys. Mummy Pig sits in the living room reading a strange family brochure. A mysterious Dr. Wolf approaches the house, carrying a briefcase. The whole family gathers in the living room to listen carefully. The doctor shows the family various charts and scientific graphs. George no longer plays and sits quietly alone in his room. The little boy now has an empty and distant look in eyes. Mummy cooks food in the kitchen, strictly following new schedule. Daddy Pig throws his beloved playing cards into the trash bin. Peppa sits alone in her room, looking very worried and concerned. Suzy Sheep comes to visit her very best friend at home. The family eats dinner at the table in complete, eerie silence. Dr. Wolf smugly writes something down in his notebook with satisfaction. Peppa desperately tries to talk to her parents at home. The parents look at their daughter with empty, emotionless zombie eyes. Peppa discovers suspicious documents and brochures from Dr. Wolf hidden. The girls plan together how to stop the evil Dr. Wolf. Peppa bravely confronts Dr. Wolf in their family home. Courageously, Dr. Wolf reveals his true and terrifying face to everyone. The entire family surrounds Peppa with empty zombie-like staring eyes. Frightened Peppa tries to run away from her family desperately. The house becomes gray and lifeless like in a nightmare dream. Peppa sits with the same empty stare as all others. Dr. Wolf leaves behind the perfect dead family he created. Good morning at Peppa Pig's house. Today is a special day as the children are getting ready for a new school year. You are doing great, my dears. School is starting soon, and you are already working so hard. But what is this? What a strange letter appeared at the door. Strange. No address, no sender. And it's for Peppa? We invite you to participate in the game. It will change your life. All your problems will disappear. Come tomorrow at midnight to the specified address. Do not be late, and tell no one. What does this mean? She couldn't sleep. Thoughts of the game kept her awake. What kind of game is this? And why must she keep it a secret? Dear, are you okay? You're so thoughtful today. Yes, did something happen? Let's play. I can't, I have something to do. She noticed that she wasn't the only one who received an invitation. Other children also held black envelopes. What kind of game is spreading so quickly? We don't know what to do. There's no money at all, and bills are growing. I know, I'm trying, but nothing works. She understood why her parents were so tired, and why this invitation to the game seemed so tempting to her. I have to do this, for them. At midnight, when the whole world was asleep, she set off into the unknown. She didn't know what awaited her, but she believed it would help her family. The address led her to an old, abandoned building. Is this where the game is supposed to take place? Inside, it was dark and quiet, but she saw a light at the end of the corridor. She wasn't alone. Other children had also arrived. They were all here, everyone who received an invitation, and the one who invited them. Welcome to the game. The rules are simple. Losers are eliminated. Winners get everything. She realized she was trapped. This was not the game she had dreamed of. First game. Red light, green light. Let's begin. The game began. And it was not a children's game. It was a game of survival. SUZY. She had to move. She had to survive. But at what cost? She survived the first game. But it was only the beginning of her nightmare. And she realized that some problems cannot be solved, and some games cannot be won. A normal morning in the Pig family house. Peppa sits at the table with her phone while Mummy prepares breakfast. George plays with his toy dinosaur, but Peppa ignores him completely. A bright app with a brain icon appears on screen. Peppa excitedly taps the download button. At school, Peppa answers all the teacher's questions brilliantly. At home, parents praise their daughter for her excellent grades. On the playground, friends search for Peppa, but she's nowhere to be found. She sits at home, completely absorbed by her phone screen. Peppa's eyes become empty and lifeless. George pulls his sister's arm, but she doesn't react to his pleas to play. At dinner, Peppa's plate remains untouched as she continues staring at her phone. At night, Peppa doesn't sleep. The screen pulses with strange hypnotic light. At school, she answers like a robot with mechanical movements. Friends whisper among themselves, worried about her strange behavior. Daddy tries to take the phone away, but Peppa screams with an inhuman voice. She sits in the corner, muttering numbers and formulas. The family watches her in complete horror. George innocently picks up his sister's phone. A sinister message appears on screen, and the cycle begins again. Sunny morning in Peppa Pig's house, but Peppa behaves strangely, her gaze becoming empty. In the garden, playing with SUZY, Peppa looks detached, and a thin silhouette with red eyes flickers in the shadows of the trees. In the evening, at dinner, Peppa silently picks at her food, her smile strained, and at night, part of the stranger's silhouette is visible from under the bed. At school, Peppa draws gloomy shadows and red dots, her voice becoming monotonous when she talks about them. Daddy Pig tries to talk to Peppa, but she doesn't react, and her eyes turn completely black with a creepy grimace. Peppa approaches George. Black smoke erupts from her mouth, enveloping him, and his eyes also become empty. Mummy and Daddy Pig are horrified. Peppa turns to them with red eyes, and the stranger appears behind her. Mummy Pig tries to approach George, but Peppa blocks her way, her movements sharp and unnatural. Daddy Pig realizes this is not his daughter, and Peppa and George stand side by side with red eyes as the stranger covers them with his shadow. Last frame, Peppa Pig's house from the outside. A faint red light is visible from one window, pulsating in sync with an ominous laugh. Peppa wakes up in her room. Good morning. What a beautiful day. The family has breakfast at the table. Good morning, George. How did you sleep, little one? Children play in the living room. George, let's play with your dinosaur. At breakfast, George stays silent and stares into space. George, can you hear me, dear? Daddy reads the newspaper, not noticing problems. Interesting news today. Mummy tries to get George's attention. George, say something. Mummy is worried. Peppa plays alone in her room. Where is George? Why doesn't he want to play? George sits motionless in the corner. Silence, only silence. Mummy looks at George with concern. What's happening to him? He's completely changed. At dinner, George doesn't touch his food. George, eat something, you need your strength. Peppa tries to cheer up the family. Remember how we laughed yesterday? Nobody laughs. George sits with a full plate. I'm not hungry at all. At night, Peppa hears strange sounds. What are those sounds? George, is that you? George stands by the window with his back to Peppa. There, so quiet, so peaceful. Peppa enters her brother's room. George, what are you doing? Talk to me. George slowly turns to his sister. I'm tired, very tired of everything. George looks with empty eyes. I don't want to play anymore. Never again. In the morning, parents find a note. I went where it's quiet. Where is our boy? Peppa looks out the window at the yard. George, where are you? Come home. Peppa sits alone at the table. So quiet. Too quiet without George. Parents whisper to each other. We should have noticed. We should have helped. The empty chair reminds of George. His place will always be his place. The dinosaur lies forgotten in the grass. Even toys miss him. Everyone misses George. Good morning, sunshine. Peppa wakes up in her cozy room. The whole family gathered for breakfast. What a beautiful day for a walk. We are so happy to be together. Our family is the most friendly in the world. Children are playing happily in the park. Suzy, let's play hide and seek. Who is this strange man behind the trees? He's watching us and smiling. Hello, children. My name is Mr. Smile. Do you want to play a special game? Just look at me and smile. This is a very simple and fun game. Suzy, are you okay? Why are you looking so strange and not answering? Something is wrong with my best friend. Suzy is acting like a robot. George sits and stares at one point. George, let's go play with toys. George, what's happening to you? Why can't you hear me? I don't want to play anymore. I'll just sit and smile like everyone else. Mom and Dad are cooking dinner mechanically. Their movements have become so strange and identical. My whole family behaves the same way. They move like marionettes with frozen smiles. Their faces are empty and their eyes are lifeless. They are no longer my relatives. Help me. I'm the only one who stayed normal in this house. Mom, Dad, come back to me. I'm your daughter. Don't you recognize me? They hang on invisible strings. Someone controls my family like dolls. Mr. Smile came for me too. Peppa, you're the last one. Join us. No, I don't want to. Leave me alone. I won't be like them. I understand that I cannot resist. He's too strong, and I'm all alone. The next morning, everyone sits at the table. Good morning. We are all very happy. I smile like everyone else, but inside, I'm screaming in horror. Now we are all the same and happy. But only I remember who we used to be. Morning at Peppa Pig's house. Sunlight filters through the curtains, illuminating the breakfast table. Daddy Pig sets down his newspaper with uncharacteristic gravity, his voice trembling slightly. Children, today we're visiting the Squid family. They have a special game. Be careful, the journey. Clouds suddenly swallow the sun as they approach a grim mansion with rusted iron gates. A creaking sign reads, "Welcome to the game." Inside, sterile white walls reeking of antiseptic. A guard wearing a mask with a painted circle silently gestures toward a table of geometrically perfect cookies. First trial. A disembodied voice announces, "Carve the shape. Mistakes will be eliminated." Suzy Sheep's hands shake as she attempts a star. The cookie crumbles. A trapdoor yawns open beneath her. Her scream echoes hauntingly. Little George, misunderstanding, plays with his circle cookie until it snaps. The trapdoor activates instantly. Peppa only manages to grab his toy dinosaur as he disappears. Transition. Peppa is led to a flickering monitor room. Her parents sit catatonic, chanting, "Rules are important." The screen shows a distorted version of their familiar playground. A gigantic Peppa doll moves with mechanical jerks, beginning to sing. Pedro Pony takes one step. The doll's head spins 180 degrees. Crimson eyes flare. A gunshot-like crack climax. Alone in the ticking silence, Peppa clutches George's dinosaur, its surface still bearing his fingerprints. The window reveals only endless gray void. A trembling hand turns the doorknob. Darkness. Then, children's laughter warping into mechanical static. The doll's voice, "Peppa, your turn."